Shalom Akim, all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Kakwadash, Kalalalim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Kakwadash. Yahweh is the true name for the Almighty, and Yahushai is the true name for the Son of the Almighty. And our Lord and Savior, Yahushai is our Lord and Savior, sent by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, who's going to save his elect of the nation of Israel from the coming destruction that is coming upon the world. And double honors to our apostles of James, Graham, Stone. Salutations to you, Akim, pushing this word with our sincere genuine truth. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, West Indians, the real Israelites, we are the chosen people of the Heavenly Father. Now we're going to jump right into it concerning birthright and birth certificate. You know what I mean? And it's two different things. You have government persons linking birth certificate and using birth certificate and birthright in the same context, which they are not the same. Now, what we're going to really go into is the purpose of this, why they gave you this piece of paper to walk around with or to travel with. And, this was created in this form of birth certificate, was created in 1933. So we're going to get into all that, but we're going to touch on the birthright first. There's an incident of two brothers. One died and the other used his birth certificate in his stead. And the authorities caught upon him, because according to the system, that's fraud. It's fraudulent. Well, it's fraudulent document, according to their system. Now, without, doing too much talking, I want to go straight to the birth certificate, because somebody was trying to link that brother using his brother birth certificate, as trying to link it to the story of Esau and Jacob, when Esau sold his birthright. Alright, now what is a birthright? A birthright, let me read it first before we start from 30, Genesis 25 verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. That's what Edom mean red. Alright, and to identify the Edomites today, they are the so-called white man. They are the biblical Edomites. That's their nationality. Their lineage go back to Esau. Alright. So, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And this was all set up in the spirit, or purposely orchestrated by the Most High, because the blessing was to pass on to Jacob, even though Jacob was not the firstborn. Or Jacob was the second. He came out after Esau, and the birthright normally is given to the eldest son, to the firstborn. But the Heavenly Father have different plans and placement. It was set from the beginning that Jacob was supposed to be the one with the blessing. Now, the birthright meaning the birthright primogenitor, right of the firstborn. Now, when you go down, it says, well, firstborn firstlings, firstborn offspring of the young of beasts. Now, primogenitor, birthright. Now, when you look up this word, the primogenitor, let's look it up. Search for Google. Let's look at the primogenitor, the state of being the firstborn child, the right of succession belonging to the firstborn child. All right, especially the feudal rule by which the whole estate of an intestate passed to the eldest son. So that's what it is. Whatever inheritance or whatever resource, whatever possession that is in the, the 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 father that the father have, was gonna pass down to the firstborn. So the birthright is dealing with the son inheritance, all right, a primogenitor, the inheritance or the succession that will pass down unto him. All right, that's what a birthright is. It have to do with inheritance. So let's further go down into the scriptures. Um, Now this is Genesis 49 verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength. So that's what happens when you have the firstborn child, especially really dealing with the firstborn son. The excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. So the point is that Reuben is his firstborn and he's the beginning of his strength because he will carry on his legacy, in inheritance I got passed on to him and I'm supposed to what maximize upon whatever inheritance was passed down unto him. So the beginning of my strength and the excellency, dignity, and the excellency of power. So let's go down further. Deuteronomy 21 verse 15. If a man have two wives, so this is legal, all right? You can have two wives, or you can have more than two wives. You can have many wives, as long as you can take care of them according to the scriptures. Scripture say their duty and raiment of marriage, their duty, their duty of marriage and raiment and such the like shall not be diminished. So if you have more than one wife, you're supposed to can take care of them equally. Nevertheless, that's beside the point. If a man have two wives, one beloved and the other hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated have borne him children, right? And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his son to inherit that which he hath. So the firstborn son shall inherit what the father have. You see, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. See? So the right of the firstborn, which is the birthright, supposed to get it. The firstborn supposed to get it. See? So that's what it's got when it comes to the right of the firstborn. Yeah, I thought that was a term, the right. Let me see something. The right of the firstborn. Judgment, justice. But the point is made, birthright, primogenitor, right of the firstborn. It is the same thing. So that's what it is dealing with. Inheritance, what the father have, should be passed down unto the firstborn. That's what the birthright is dealing with. Now, concerning, registration and, you know, birth certificate, we never had this. This is not a thing that we had, walking around with to identify us and all of that. We had things that identify us. We had a register. Now this is Genesis. This is Nehemiah 7:15, and my God put into mine heart to gather together the nobles of the rulers and of the people, that they might be reckoned by genealogy. See, that they might be reckoned by genealogy. Now let's be clear on what this word reckoned by genealogy is. Reckoned by genealogy, enrolled, enroll on genealogy. Enroll, be enrolled. Um, enroll oneself, be enrolled by genealogy. Enroll by pedigree. Hold on, let me bring this up. Officially register as a member of an institution or student on course. Now, in this case, they may be enrolled by what? Genealogy. Register by genealogy. See, genealogy go back to what? Your pedigree, where you originate from, your family line. So let's look up this word. I'll get a scripture on pedigree. Let me get a scripture on pedigree that they. Let me get a scripture on pedigree. Will be. Let me just use this. It's numbers though. I think out of numbers. So okay, just give me some time. A little bit of time. You're gonna have to find this. No, spell me can spell pedigree. All right. All right. Numbers. All right. Take the sum of the combination of children. All right. Right. Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together. This is Numbers 1 and 18 again. This is and they assemble, meaning and bring together all the congregation together. Sorry, on the first day of the second month, and they declare their pedigrees after their families, their true blood, their line, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. See, and what they do when you read through scriptures, they normally call out the name of the men and the father and their children. See? So it's really to chase your lineage, to show which house you belong to. Declare their pedigree. Now look, just look up this word pedigree. We get gender distress. To declares one's birth, pedigree. Um, let me detect this off. Right. So let me look up this word pedigree. So that's what it's pedigree. So for some reason I'm always have pedigree with dogs, but this is what pedigree really means. The record of descent of an animal showing, and we are animal anyway, because the word animal come from the word animate, mean to move, showing it to be purebred. Alright? Alright, so going further, it's a recorded ancestry or lineage of a person or family. So that's further proof, you know, what pedigree is dealing with, or genealogy. So to be enrolled or reckoned or enrolled, register by genealogy, the lineage, see, of your father. Alright, by lineage. If you want to get technical, let's look up this word genealogy too. What is genealogy? An account of the descent of a person, family, or a group from an ancestor or from older forms. Regular descent of a person. The descent of a person. Now we're going to further with that. So you get the picture. Well, you used to have that. Um, and read it again. That. And my God put in my heart to gather it together the nobles and the rulers and the people, that they might be reckoned, enrolled, registered by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy, saying of them which came up at first and found therein. So what happened is that when we came up out of um, Babylon, we were delivered from by Zerubbabel out of Babylon. We came to the land. We were to be identified. Which house you belong to, which tribe. You belong to the house of Judah, Benjamin, um, Levi. Which line, which tribe you belong to. Zane, that's what they had to sort out, and to what through the register, the script, all right, which was written. Now let's further go into more of this. Um, so now concerning your birth certificate. Now when you look on your birth certificate, you see all caps, and I have a lot of different articles here concerning naming all caps. Go back to the Latin term capitis diminutia maxima, name in all caps. All right, very important information. So now let's look at what capitis. It is three stage. Capitis diminutia maxima coming. All right, I'm gonna read one from the law dictionary, which is practically saying the same thing, but this is actually telling you some more um, concerning even your birth certificate. And the reason why you had a birth certificate anyway, for the purpose of understanding one's legal or commercial status under the admiralty system. I'm gonna play videos, man. I'm gonna play a few videos to end this lesson. You know, videos you want to really look into and do your own research. See, these men of this system, they created the birth certificate for a very specific reason. All right, and it is not for your good anyway. He said the purpose of one's legal or commercial status under the admiralty system, the law system used in England, Canada, and much of the US. It is necessary to examine the curious use of all caps, capitis diminutia maxima, meaning what? A total loss of status, in legal and domestic income tax forms, credit cards and statement loans, mortgages, speeding and parking tickets, car documents, road tax, court summons, etc. While seemingly a trite concern, this apparently small detail has extremely deep significance for all of us. All right, and this is not for the simple. All right, because there's a lot of people, or the majority of people, don't believe that these men, the rulers that they have over them, actually um, are not there for their good. Actually plot all of these and far more on our life and the life of our people to own us. And a lot of our people think that they're free, but you think again. According to the Gage Canadian Dictionary 1983, Section 4 defines capital adjective as to take advantage of, all right, to use to one's own advantage. So when you see capitalization, that's how, even look at the somebody headstone when they die, name in all caps, saying their name is written in all caps, and it was purposely done. All right, the Black's Law Dictionary, Revised 4th edition, 1968, provide more comprehensive definition as follows: capitis diminutia, meaning the diminishing of status through the use of capitalization. See, but you have medium, you have a small, which is the minimum, the medium, and the maxima. So as you go further and further, it's a total loss of status when you reach to the maxima part of it. So it's read that again. The meaning the diminishing of status through the use of capitalization in Roman law, a diminishing or abridgment of personality, a loss of curtailment of a man's status, or aggregate of legal attribute and qualifications. Capitis diminution minima, a minimum loss of status through the use of capitalization. For example, you see your name on a document like that, it's a minimum um, you call it now loss of status. The lowest or least comprehensive degree, it explains, I'm going to just read through because it explains it. The lowest or least comprehensive degree of loss of status. That's why when you have, you're less cared about, man, in this society. You're basically you're a corporation. Once you have a birth certificate, you're a corporation. You belong to somebody, and they're making money off you. All right. The lowest or least comprehensive degree of loss of status. This occurred where a man's family relation alone were changed. Where a man's family relations alone were changed. It happened upon the arrogation, pride of a person who had been his own master, steward juris, all right, of his own right, not under any legal disability, or upon the emancipation of one who had been under the patriarchal protesters. That's why a man without a birth certificate, you can't, how you going to judge him? How you going to even find him? How you going to even actually pin tax on him? How will he be even taxed? Zane, because guess what? He's basically not in the system. So what they do when they give you a birth certificate is to actually trap you in the system so they can what? Make money off you. All right. And free people don't pay tax. Just to get that in there. It is left, right of liberty and citizenship under our code. Now, the media or the medium, capitis diminution media, meaning a medium loss of status through the use of capitalization. John Doe. So you see John, capital letter, and rest is lower caps, and the John Doe is all caps. But you don't see this on documents. And you don't see this on documents. And you don't see this. Because that's not where they are, this is not what they are about, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, according to law. Alright. A lesser or medium loss of status. This occurred where a man's loss, where a man loses his rights of citizenship, but without losing his liberty. See? It carried away also family rights. So the maximum, the medium, the maximum, when it is in all caps, capitis diminution maxima, meaning a minimum loss of status to, sorry, a maximum loss of status to the use of capitalization, the highest and most comprehensive loss. Now let's go to the Black's Law or to the Law Dictionary. In Roman law, the diminishing or abridgment of personality, tills, was a loss of curtailment of a man's status or aggregate of a legal or attribute legal of attributes and qualification. Following upon certain changes in his civil condition, it was of three kinds, enumerated as follows: capitis diminution maxima, the highest or most comprehensive loss of status. This occurs when a man's condition was changed from one of freedom to one of bondage. Alright, and that is to prove that we're still in slavery. Alright, and or we're still in slavery to the mechanism of death. That's why when you see these things, man, see, in the name in all caps. This is an example of a birth certificate, name in all caps. Now, on a birth certificate, everybody birth certificate of this. Let me see if I can. Oh, this one don't show it. But look at the birth certificate at the bottom of it. It's a red number. It's called a cassette number, which I'm gonna play the video to explain that instead of me using talking too much. So let's go back to this. So you see that capitis diminution maxima, the highest or most comprehensive loss of status. This occurred when a man's condition was changed from one of freedom to one of bondage when he became a slave. And in this day and age, saying death. We are what you call debt slave, and still chattel slave. It swept away with all. It swept. Oh, sorry. It swept away with it all rights of citizenship and all family rights. Capitis diminution medium, a lesser media, a lesser or medium loss of status. Um, yeah, we get through that already, but the point that I want to go, I read was when you reach to the maxima, which is on or your documentation, your driver's license, it is what a total loss of status to show when one become when one change from freedom to that of slave. So a man without a birth certificate is basically free because he's not under the law. You can't judge him because he's not in your system. So let's play um, a video from Jordan Peterson. No, sorry, not Jordan Peterson. Jordan Maxwell. Where is it? Jordan Maxwell. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah.
And it's called. You see, there are two kinds of law. This is a subject I love. I've been talking about this for years. There are two kinds of law on the earth that rule the whole world. But most people don't know that. All over the world, all governments are ruled by what is called civil law. Civil law goes back to a Latin word, civili,
All
which
right.
goes back to the word ili.
Hey, this video is bad, man. I'm gonna skip though to get to the point.
It pulls in and stops and law. Concept, uniform commercial
All
code.
right.
Uniform commercial code is based directly on Vatican canon law, on the Roman canon law. Consequently, when a ship pulls into port, it pulls in and stops, and it's called in its berth. The ship is now in its berth. Because it is on the law of the high seas or commercial maritime, UCC commercial law rules the seas. So when the ship pulls into its berth, the first thing the captain must do is to present a certificate of manifest to the port authorities, which means that the port authorities need to know how much is on this ship that you're bringing into our country and our economy. How many TVs, how many cars, whatever you're bringing, how much you're bringing into our economy. So you have to have a certificate of manifest of what is the value of your ship here, what are you doing. Consequently, when you are born, you come out of your mother's water. Therefore, you must have a birth certificate, a certificate of manifest, because you are a corporation owned item. You are a human resource. This goes back to the German Nazi concept that every human coming out of their mother's water must be birthed. And therefore, you have to have a certificate of manifest to see how much this individual is going to make for us
Yes.
in our new world order. I'm telling you that until you understand the laws, the symbols, the emblems, what these words mean, you're never going to suspect how far gone we really are. Did you know, for instance, that your birth certificate is a security on the stock exchange in the New York stock market? Did you know that? Because if you order your birth certificate, get a new one, order your birth certificate, only costs you, sometimes it's free. It'll only cost you a few dollars. Order your birth certificate. On your birth certificate, all birth certificates in this country, on the bottom, it will tell you this is printed on security papers. Do not accept it, not on full color security paper. Then on the right hand corner, you will always have a series of numbers, red numbers, printed on the birth certificate.
Yeah, the birth certificates in Jamaica, the red number is at the bottom in the middle, I believe.
Those numbers are a security stock exchange number on the World Stock Exchange. You go to any good stock office and ask them, check these numbers in your computer and see how much your stock is worth, the certificate. and they will check it on the New York Stock Exchange and find you, your birth certificate is a stock on the stock exchange in America. Why? Because you are worth money to the international bank that bought you in 1930. We need to wake up.
Oh yes. And whether you want to believe it or not, it is for whosoever have ears to hear, man. But we're gonna go further. All right, we're gonna drive some more information into this.
This is a certified true copy of my live statement of birth. You can get this by applying for it at the Registrar General. They'll give it to you. And it's very interesting because this is where it all began. This is the foundation document. All identification is generated from this document. And so if the foundation document is no good, anything that's made from it is no good. That means driver's licenses, health cards, everything. Now, what they did here, this is exactly what he meant when he said, soon every American will be required to register their biological property. Now, your parents didn't realize what they were doing when they filled this out. And these didn't exist before 1933. Birth records were recorded in scripture. And these only came into being in 1930.
As we were showing, you see, in Nehemiah and in Ezra, we use that word some can go back. Yeah, Ezra 6 and the book of Ezra 6 verse 62, 2 verse 62. These sought their register among those that were reckoned or enrolled registered by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore, they as polluted, put from the priesthood, all right, until them can actually be recognized, again. Now, um, now let's go, I think, further down, right? And the third Asher said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things till there stood up a priest with Urim and Thummim, with Urim and with Thummim. See, now the Urim and the Thummim is what they're going to use to actually, look back, and the Most High going to communicate to them to actually tell them, which genealogy them belong to, because them couldn't find the register. See, but to tell them which. So that's what we used to do. See, the whole congregation together was 40 and 2,300, because we were coming out of bondage. We needed to find our house, our line, our family line that we belong to. One Israel, but we have tribes, man. We were tribes of people. Beside their servants and their maids, of whom were 7,330 and seven, and there were among them 200 singing men and singing women. And when you go evening to read Ezra, Nehemiah, they list out there was a lot of names and such being listed out. But you're back to the video. Three,
When they hatched this plan,
so let's play
before
that back.
1933, birth records were recorded in scripture, logical property. Now, your parents didn't realize what they were doing when they filled this out. And these didn't exist before 1933.
Right? They did not exist before 1933. And even though Jordan Maxwell said it was in the 1930s that these came about, that in which your government bought you, and this is one of the mediums in which you were bought. Mm. For them to make money off it, even though, hey, we were bought before because we were still slaves, but they actually put you into a bigger trap, is into a death trap, is by actually giving you these certificates, and to identify and to control and to track people, man.
These records were recorded in scripture, and these only came into being in 1933 when they hatched this plan. They created a corporate fiction with a name just like yours. In doing this, they registered and monetized the spirit and soul of a living being. This denotes ownership. And when your parents were tricked into filling this out, they allowed your spirit and your soul to be monetized.
Yeah, so a lot of people even now, breaking their necks to get their children birth certificate. Yeah, so the system set up. I have one. Then, so this is not saying that, oh, you fuck the birth certificate. We're just showing you the mechanism under which, your government, our government, not even our government, because it's deeper than our government, the so-called white man, is in the mechanism, the trap that they set, and we are enrolled in a trap. This is not enrolled by genealogy, because none of us on our birth certificate don't actually show us where we came from, and that's what a register is supposed to do. It's supposed to show you which lineage you come from. Zin. So these men have us in this, it's part of the evidence, to prove that you belong to them, that you're part of a corporation. As he's explaining, let me just make him speak.
And futures were sold on you. Now, this is my birth certificate. This is actually a share. See this red number? This A, I'm born in Canada. This is a Class A share. Now, this is called a CUSIP number. And all securities require a CUSIP number. And that's what this is. And you are held as collateral to secure the debt which our government owes to international bankers.
Hey, what did sorry, what I have to say in 2014, when the PNP was in, I think it was PNP in governance, where what did Peter Phillips says, every single Jamaican owe up to 500 and odd thousand um dollar is in collateral, as collateral for the debt, for the paying back of the national debt, and that was in 2014. So, and the debt ceiling and the debt rises. So Jamaica, and he said what, even the unborn. So before you come out of the womb, then you owe the debt or the national debt. He said that. Zane, he said that. And if you're interested, you can look up the article. I think it was a Gleaner Observer, where he said that every single Jamaican owe over $500,000 as in payment or repaying of the debt. And how can they hold you accountable for that? The beginning of that is your birth certificate.
So you and me and all these people here are actually collateral. And we don't even own our lives. We are chattel. And we believe we're free. I made an application to the Registrar General and I got my original social insurance application. Now, before they sent it to me, they put a little piece of paper over this before they photocopied it. Because my friend has his and they didn't block this out. And when you hold it up, you see Bank of Canada. It is said that the best slaves are the ones who don't know that they're enslaved. And we all have invisible chains on us, and we don't know it. The truth that you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, bound into a prison that you cannot smell, taste, or touch. A prison for your mind. We're talking about big bucks. We're not talking about hundreds of millions or even hundreds of billions now. We're talking about trillions of dollars. The obligation is.
Yeah, just show you. So to debt, to all these things that they set up, and even this very video, it's a more lengthier video because he actually break down, the lines, while the birth certificate have on a lot of lines on it. Then he actually break it down, and these lines, runs across. They have the dotted lines, and then you have the straight lines. these actually have meanings. Zane, it is not as simple as you people think it is, and it is not a stretch. You have to believe, or have to have a spiritual eye to see that we are ruled by wicked men. We are ruled by evil men, and we in an evil society. Zane, I forgot what I wanted to actually add, and sorry for the lengthy video. I wanted it to be shorter, but you know, it's just the spirit. I just go with the spirit, and hopefully, it is edifying. If I have any more information to bring out on this, I will do so. And I pray that you are was edified. And with that, we say shalom.